Good evening and welcome to the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission meeting of May 18th, 2026. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast by local access programming and with remote participation available as provided for on our agenda. Is there anybody here recording tonight's meeting? Nope, no one's recording. I hereby call the meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. Roll call of our members present.
Jim Florin.
Kate Rowland.
Mike Greco.
Here.
Thank you. Mark Munjum. Excused from tonight's meeting is Brendan Doyle. Okay. Do you want to wait on the meeting minutes? All right, we're going to wait on the meeting minutes until later in the meeting. So, discussion point number 1, 56 West Street, 143-0949.
So basically with this, you guys can come up. Yeah, yep. What happened was, as far as I'm aware, is the applicants came in for a request for an RDA for a shed, basically. And then what happened was Brandon took a look at aerial photos and old site plans and such. And number one, he saw that there was an order of conditions for this house, which I'm going to pull it up right here so you guys can see. There was an old order of conditions from, I think, 2018. And then he mentioned that there was supposed to be a COC for it, and he didn't see a COC for it. I'm sure you guys are going to speak on that as well. And then he had looked at aerial photography, which we do a lot of the times, which I'm going to bring up here. And he noticed that toggling between now and several years ago, it looks like the limit of work went beyond what was originally approved in their order of conditions that they received. So you can kind of see, so this is 2025, and then we go back to 2023. We're looking at this area here, particularly. So basically Brandon noticed that if I toggle between both of them, the limit of work has extended slightly farther south here. And then when we go up to, I believe it's 2019, you can see the original kind of silt fence on probably right around here when the house was being built. And then I go back to 2025, and if I kind of really quickly go through between the two of them, you can just see that it looks like things were built beyond the limit of work. Brandon mentioned that it looks like in this area here, the deck may have been extended slightly farther south than what was originally approved, a little bit bigger than what was originally approved. So we brought this up just so we can have the owners come in, speak on it, and then we can figure out, number one, the certificate of compliance. We need to get a certificate of compliance for the order of conditions that expired for this originally. And then we need to move forward and figure out, are we gonna require an after the fact notice of intent for work that's been done beyond what was originally approved. So that's what I have, and I can give it to the owners and just speak on it.
Hi. Yes, Adriana Podolak.
Robert Podolak. Glenn Kravosky, EVP Environmental. I'll speak if you're online.
Yeah.
So thank you. We were, the EVT, we were at the site. We have some photographs. We'll pass them around. It's just the same. There's two sheets. I can send one this way. And this gentleman can have one. So there is a certificate of compliance. We have it here. We can make another copy. We'll give you this. Registry has it.
Thank you.
And I'll be at the mic here. Thank you. So the clients are aware that there's
like the agenda.
Garden put in and a pervious patio put in also. And we have Margaret Bacon had done the original plan. We have a copy of that in 18, Ms. Bacon. And then they want also a shed. I think that was the original, I believe you might have mentioned. That's why they were going to do the RDA. So as you pull straight into the driveway, in front of, at the very end, that they were looking at a shed. You have a copy of the plan, so other people have a copy too. Probably thank you again. So pulling straight in, you have that. And we see behind the house, which is the southern side of the house, these new structures are out there. And they obviously we understand, or they understand to look at permitting these, and then at the same time permitting, after the fact permitting of that, and then seeing where it lies within the protection zone that you have. And if I could just make sure that that's 25 feet, I believe.
You have a 50-foot no build and then the
And
25 no
25
touch. Yep.
Thank you. Yep, yep. And then, so looking at those distances and what they have out there and how to permit, obviously we understand how to permitting, you show them on a plan, and you see what the distances are. The question Brandon did, I talked to him, and there was some questions about using the original line when he did think there was no certificate of compliance. I'm not sure what he thinks now. We would, whatever the commission wants, we could go back to the original line and then put these, pick up these new structures, put them on the plan, see where we are within the 25 and the 50, show the shed also. That's it. But of course, there's always going to be questions by the board, but that's how we would generally approach something like this, where there was some after the fact, show it on the plan and see where we are. And then show the shed, we're sure, if it's, and we looked at the upland as we stand on the road facing in, if we're coming straight into the site, and you'll see in the plan to the right, we don't have a wetland system over there, so I don't see the shed would be an issue if it's straight in at the end of the garage, at the end of the drive. The other issues are getting a little bit closer, just come in straight again, behind the house, bearing left, which would be called east. And so we'd have to look and see what we have over there, the pervious patio, the garden, as you can see with those couple of photos I sent. Okay. So we'd be here to ask basically what the commission wants for us to put on the plan, if there is a plan. I won't direct the commission or the agent on what you want. It's going to, now you know what's out there, and you can see some photos. What do you want for us to do? RDA, NOI, or site plan? So
Through the chair. What you handed me looked like the agenda. You have the COC. If you guys just, you could send it over to
it's right
Jen
here.
too. Okay.
No, I have it.
Perfect, okay.
Could you pass that down, please?
Thank
Just
you.
another 8.5 by 11 little
Perfect, thank
section
you.
of stuff I had. Thank
Okay.
you.
So, yeah, it's up to, your comfort with it. Normally, for this kind of thing, we would require an after-the-fact notice of intent and just get everything included in it. The shed and all the work that's been done, put it on a site plan, get a notice of intent in after the fact. If you want to see a site plan first, I suppose you could do that as an as-built to see where things are, but that's really up to your comfort. They would need, I'm sure the wetland flags would need to be refreshed. Either way, we want to see some type of site plan ideally and filing. We need some type of filing. So it's up to your comfort. Brandon said a notice of intent. It looks like some of the disturbance could be within the 50-foot buffer. So, I understand maybe a site plan first to see where things lie, and then if you felt comfortable, then it would just be a matter of, do you want RDA or do you want a notice of intent, or get a notice of intent, do it all together at once. It's up to your comfort level, so leaving it for discussion for you guys.
All right, well, this is just a discussion. We don't have any plans to look at.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of information here to make a judgment in that regard. Do you have any estimate as to how many feet away from the wetland the work has occurred? How far it's extended beyond what was originally permitted?
To me, it looks like it's probably, all I'm doing right now is looking at this aerial photo and then looking at the site plan that I have in this packet here that was given. It looks like there's potential that it might have cut into the 50-foot, right? So I see that the original erosion control limit of work is within the 50-foot. Let me go back to the 2019 here. I know it's kind of hard to see from this angle, but this limit of work did cut slightly into the 50-foot buffer zone in the, the southeast corner over here. So when I go
Correct,
back
the original limits of work.
Yes, exactly.
Cut into
So
it.
I'm
And the
just
work
using that
that's
to
been
compare.
done that we're thinking has extended beyond those original limits is not really that direction, or is
to
it
be
more to the south?
Yeah, it looks to be more south when I look at the aerial photos. So it may be in the 50-foot, it may not be, but
Right,
I can't,
right.
no, I
We
can't
can't
tell without a
tell.
formal delineation, site plan, as-built plan.
Okay.
You know, like I said, all I know is that when I talked to Brandon, he's recommending an after-the-fact notice of intent for this one.
And the notice of intent should include whatever new work they want to do, correct? So
Exactly.
the structure that they're intending to
Exactly. So
install.
the shed, it'll include the shed, it should include whatever, you know, went beyond the original limit of work for the order of conditions, if the deck was extended, if there's pavers around the deck, whatever's to the south of the deck here, you know, and that would be included in a notice of intent application, and a new site plan would be submitted through that as well.
All right, that's what I would recommend. Is a new notice of intent, as long as you said there is a certificate of compliance for the...
She has it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was, so it was 18, if I could, through you, the chair. It was issued the order in 18, and the certificate was 22 May, I believe it was. May 2nd, maybe?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was March. It's like- So you don't need to vote on anything. It can
No.
just be, you know, that was our discussion, and then they would move forward with that.
The notice intent.
Yeah.
That's, I'm sorry. Okay.
Go ahead.
Please,
You might answer
and
my
then I'll come
question.
right after that. Thank you.
So is this February 2nd, 2022, the as-built? Because I thought we didn't have an as-built, but that's after the certificate of compliance date of March that you were saying?
If I could. So, because I didn't have, if I could. Through the chair.
Yes.
Thank you. So if you have an as-built, that would then, which we don't have at the registry, we didn't
Okay.
find it. So that would make sense that there was an as-built to get the certificate. So you have one more plan that I didn't have.
But what you're asking is, I think this work was done after
Got
they
it,
received
got
the
it.
certificate of compliance, because when I look at the aerial photos, it looks like it's between 2023 and 2025. So
So-
it would have been after they received that certificate of compliance.
So if we do a new notice of intent, we'd require a new as-built along with...
It would be a new plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a new site plan,
Okay,
and it would
okay.
show everything on there, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. The one thing we would like at my office would be the as-built, just to have it in our file. Because the clients
Sure.
don't seem to have it. I'm just asking.
Understood,
So
sure.
at your convenience, somebody would scan it and send it over to us.
Yeah,
because we
you
don't have it.
contact Jen at the town hall,
Okay,
and
thank you.
she'll be able to get
We
that to
appreciate
you.
it.
Any additional questions or comments?
No, I'm good with the NOI.
Nope, I'm fine with that.
But we appreciate that.
Yep.
On time frame, our engineers and surveyors, at least one group of them, they're approximately 2 months out. So sometimes we get this direction, nothing's going anywhere, there's no siltation, it has been stabilized. But as soon as one of them's in Italy at some daughter's wedding right now, just showed up over there. So I'm going to ask him and another guy out of Douglas, which is existing grades, and I'm going to see what we have for pricing out of those two more reasonable surveyors. And we'll see Rydell Street, existing grades, you know the people. So we'll ask them for quotes on just getting that surveyed on the
Yep.
existing conditions and then show the shed and to create our site plan.
Maybe if you, it's up to you, up to your comfort, if you want them to come in a couple meetings just for an update for anything, you know, that could be
I don't think
something
it's
to do.
necessary to do that.
We appreciate that again, sir. We'll keep you up to date, though. As soon as we have any kind
Yeah.
of time period, general time period, we'll send emails out that we're going to get a survey with it, whatever. They'll give us a schedule.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
But the shed should not be installed, obviously, until
We're
we
in the
have...
100-foot buffer, thank you. Will,
a permit.
everything will be permitted after the fact and the proposed at the same time. We appreciate it.
But I don't mind if you continue your gardening, and that's fine.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yes, granted. Thank you again.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Have a good evening.
Yep, you too.
Thank you.
I just like to keep my files. This is the one I gave you by error?
No, I think she had it, but if you want to take this, you can take
The
it.
agenda. Do you have my agenda?
I do.
No big deal. Thank you, just to keep it in the file. Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Next up, 106 Pine Street,
I should have mentioned.
DP number 143-1106. Hello, how are you tonight?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Okay, so, as far as I'm aware, the last time we were here talking about this, the erosion controls went a little bit beyond, I believe, what was originally proposed. So Raouf went out, got, locations of the erosion controls. We see that, it's a little bit different from what was originally approved to what's out there right now. I'm trying to see if I have the right one in front of me. So where we're at the moment, if you
We
guys
did meet with them last meeting, just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what Brandon was telling me for this one was that we need to go, one of us has to go out to the site just to look between where the difference is in the erosion controls, because there has been clearing, as far as I'm aware, between those two areas. So he wants to have one of us go out there, look, kind of evaluate it. Has not been any plantings done, as far as I'm aware yet, within the riverfront area here. That's part of their notice of intent, the order of conditions, excuse me, for this application, that there needs to be plantings done within the riverfront area here. So basically, we need to go out there and kind of evaluate and see, okay, how many plants do we need in this area versus, what was proposed. I need to see. But that's kind of where he left it with me at the moment. So I'm looking at, let's see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with this. There's some spots, that, the erosion control is kind of
Right,
crisscrossed.
there's two sets of erosion control in some areas out there.
Yeah.
There's the new erosion control, which is on the original limit of work, and then there's the erosion control, which was installed in some spots a little bit worse behind where the original line is. And you're just keeping both up for right now, correct?
Yeah, so we kept any that was too far, we kept until, we are able to just finish everything up, because it's basically just double protection to
Right.
wherever the wet
Exactly.
areas are.
Yep.
Why disturb it at this point?
Right,
I think that's what we all agreed on.
yes.
As for that, it seems like we're basically at the same spot as where we were last meeting. They were talking about doing the site visit prior to this one, but whatever you guys would like to do is fine with us.
Yep.
Yeah, so we need to get out there, check it, see, okay, can we have some plantings in this area where they went beyond, basically? So we have to get out there
Right.
to do that.
Yes.
And then when you guys do go out, I'm sure you'll notice like the thickness of the grass and things, that you'll be able to see that the erosion controls were, yes, farther than they were supposed to be, but it wasn't like clear cut. This area was very clear. And you'll be able to tell that just by like the vegetation of the area. It's consistent with other areas around the pond that were never even walked on. So you'll be able to see the consistency there. Hopefully you're happy that we didn't cut too
Yeah, and
much.
it may not be a lot of plantings, it may
Yeah.
be just a couple, and just is gonna depend on what we see when we're out there. But yeah,
Yeah.
we're trying to get out there, and I'm sorry about that,
Oh,
to
it's-
keep it,
It's no problem.
but
It's not a bunch of activity going on there right now, and it's not holding us up in any way. So, there's no rush in any way. I'd be happy to meet you guys out there if you'd like.
Yeah,
You're
well-
welcome to go out anytime.
before we
Whatever.
go, we'll let you guys know, and we'll give you a call, but,
Sounds good.
yep, that's where we're at.
Whatever works for you guys. There's no big work going right this second there. So, whatever works, it's fine with us.
Okay. Sounds good. Then we will make arrangements for a visit. We may want to be included with that
Yeah.
visit.
Sure.
And at that point, we will be able to talk to you about what we're recommending for any replanting or rework.
Sounds good.
So,
I remember last meeting, like you guys did a Saturday morning. I'm always around, so whatever works for you guys is fine. But a little heads up just in case I have a different
No,
meeting
no,
or
no,
something.
no.
I'm busy, but I'm always around.
sure. Okay,
All right?
thanks for coming by again.
you guys.
And as for
Yeah.
that no scheduled next meeting, they'll just be in touch and we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't think maybe we'll wait to say, put on a definite, maybe we'll put on the June 15th instead. But we'll get in contact with you, and Jen will get in contact with you.
Sounds good.
for that, okay?
Yep. All set?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, have a good night.
You too.
I do. I didn't realize that.
No, that's okay. I don't mind sharing.
All right, moving on to new business. Item 3, 6:30 PM public meeting. Request for determination of applicability. David Payne, 69 Woodland Road, map 237, parcel 22, for pool area landscaping. I will read the legal notice. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. 01516. This is a legal notice for a public meeting, request for determination of applicability. The Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting relative to the following: filing under the Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws, Chapter 31, Section 40 of the Town of Douglas non-zoning wetlands bylaw. Request for determination of applicability as requested by David and Janelle Payne for proposed work located at 69 Woodland Road, map parcel 237-22. The proposed project is for installing deck and landscaping in an existing yard area around a permitted and completed in-ground pool. The public meeting will be held on May 18th at 6:30 PM in the Municipal Center, Resource Room, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. The application is available for review by appointment at the Conservation Commission office at 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. during normal business hours. All interested parties are urged to attend. Mark Munjum, Chair, Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, May 11th, 2026. Is someone here to represent this project, please?
Hello, I'm David Payne.
Hi, David.
How are you?
Good. How are you tonight?
All right, thank you.
Good. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Do you have a plan that you want to present to us or show us?
I have nothing other than what Jen told me I needed to submit as a packet. I didn't know there was more I should bring.
Okay.
I'll get the packet up here. If you want to just explain the
Oh, sure.
project to them,
Yeah,
you
great.
can do that.
So last summer, we of course submitted permits to take care of installing an in-ground pool, which was completed, and fence finished, all those things. Building permit signed off on and completed, I'm going to say 60 or so days ago, and then began the work to talk with a variety of contractors about installing a deck around the pool and landscaping, and reached out to the town to find out what needed to be done, if anything, and she gave me direction that I need to submit a design, which I had some email exchange with Brendan. I think that's the copy that he saw or responded to. And yeah, so that's what we're trying to do. Put in a paver deck and some landscaping. I think the landscaping company, or the Landworks company, Level 10 Landworks, is on the Zoom as well for questions related to things that I would be the best person to explain.
Okay. Sam, what do you have?
So I have the little plan, like hand-drawn plan that we received with this. So the pool got approved last year, so that was approved under an RDA. Now we've got pavers that are going to go around the edge of the pool along with some landscaping. It is an existing lawn currently, as you can see, the existing erosion control. Our main concern would be, is there, because with the pools you got to pump it out, right? So a lot of the time we don't want to see a hose going from the pool straight towards the wetlands, letting the pump out, wash out, go right towards the wetlands. So what Brandon likes to see a lot of the time is a sump hole in the ground to be able to discharge that water into a sump hole. So if you were to issue a negative determination this evening, I would recommend having a condition that a sump pump out area is put for the washout of the pool. So that's really, my main concern here. I think that Brandon wanted to ask, is it going for the pavers, are they going to be pervious, or is the water going to be allowed to infiltrate through the pavers?
So the answer to that question is the current plan is to do an impervious paver deck and install 1 or 2 water infiltration systems to direct the runoff to, and I don't know the specific locations out based on when they shoot grades and all that. So the answer to that's the answer to that question. Last year when he came out and looked at it before the pool went in and pool equipment went in, we discussed the sump hole. But the way it was described to me at the time, and again, maybe I misheard it, was that it was related to putting in a sand filter for the pool equipment so that when we backwashed out of the filter, that would be the place to drain it. He suggested a better option would be to put in a cartridge filter so we didn't have to do that, which is what we chose to do instead. So we don't do backwash runoff from a sand filter for the pool equipment.
So can you so you have the impervious deck and you're having the water run off into what kind of, like an infiltration system?
Yeah, maybe
of some sort.
Val is, I think he's on Zoom. He could probably speak more specifically to what that is, but so if he's there, maybe he can.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, good evening. The infiltration system is like a Coltech system where we collect the water in a location where we see we need to, and it stays within the paved deck area. No runoff. We plan on not having any water runoff beyond the deck area. So all the water from rain wash or if he has a hose running, it's going to be contained within that area where we're going to be doing the work. Obviously, there's landscape beds. Most of the areas are around the perimeter almost, so some could go in there too. It's going to be absorbed by the landscape area where we're going to have it's not going to be mulch. It's going to be river rocked with the plants, but also the Coltech system where we it's too far for us to put the water where we want it to go. We're going to put the collection system. We have, at this estimate, we have a cost to provide 2 of those, but if we need to provide more, we will.
What's that? Could you state your name and company again, please, for the record?
Sure. Val Souza from Level 10 Landworks.
Thanks.
So yeah, that satisfies, if it's going to be impervious, that's good that they're doing infiltration with it. They have an area for, discharging the pool water. So that's number 2. My last thing would be, it doesn't show, I'm sure you've spoken with Brandon on this, but we are not showing 50-foot buffer. It looks from this that we're outside of the 50-foot buffer zone here. We've got existing erosion controls. Again, this has been approved by the commission in the past. I want to make sure we're not going within the 50-foot buffer zone here, because then we have the no build, and then we're looking at more on the edge of a notice of intent rather than an RDA. So that would be my only other comment. Otherwise, we're in existing lawn, and I have nothing else for this. and my recommendation would be a negative determination, as long as if you could answer the question of if it's 50 feet away or not.
I have not done anything. I just
Okay.
had the fence put in based on the lawn that existed.
Okay,
So.
all right, so it's all existing within what's existing now, so Brandon's comfortable with it being an RDA, so.
I'm not comfortable with it being an
Hold on,
RDA.
ma'am, can you
We'll
just
give you
wait
an
one moment,
opportunity to
please?
Speak in a moment. So, based off that, if you're comfortable issuing a negative determination, you wouldn't need any conditions on it based off of him, discharging the pool water into a certain area and not straight towards the wetland. So that's really what I have for comments.
I'm feeling like the information that we're being provided is not substantial enough, that we're blind as to where the wetland, I can see a wetland, but I don't know if it's inside the 50-foot buffer or not. We're being told there's going to be Cultec changers. We don't know where they are. It's the second time for this pool. I think I would...
I'm sorry.
You were before us before to have the pool constructed, or...
Oh, the pool company did an RDA. Right.
The pool company did an RDA, all right? So I would have liked to have known that this was going to be requested, or what other activity was going to occur when you did the first RDA, not have to come back and do another RDA. So I want to be sure that there's not going to be something else down the road. So I would like a more substantial plan that shows where the Cultec system is going to be installed, where the sump is going to be installed that is being requested, where the impervious paver deck, the extent of that, and the buffer zone, the buffer lines. And so when you bring that back to us, then I think we can vote on whether it's a negative determination or not.
Can I ask 2 questions?
Yeah,
Great,
of course.
thank you. So you listed the sump hole. Is that still a necessary thing with the infiltration system?
So the infiltration, from what I'm understanding, the infiltration system is for the impervious pavers, correct?
Right,
The deck.
For the runoff, yeah,
Okay.
to keep the control water.
But then what I was referring to with the sump hole was for the discharge of the pool, when you need to wash out, when you need to discharge the pool as in a washout area. From what Brandon has told me, I don't have a pool personally.
Sure.
He has a pool. He's told me you have to empty it out occasionally. I just don't want a hose going straight
Sure.
towards the woods that way, towards the wetland.
Totally.
And that's, from my understanding, a normal upkeep, I guess, in an in-ground pool, above ground, whatever it may be. That's normal upkeep for it, that you have to empty it out partially and discharge some of the pool water into a certain area, or just discharge it out to then refill it. Somebody, if you guys have a pool, you can add in.
I don't know that.
So I have an in-ground, and we have a sand filter, and you'll have to backwash it. So that backwash, so when you say backwash, you're taking the pool water, running it through the sand to clean the sand out.
Sure.
Because it collects all the debris and stuff, so
Right.
then that water gets discharged somewhere.
But you still
Yes.
have a different filter?
We did not put in a sand filter.
Oh, okay.
So that we didn't have to do the sump hole and all that for the drainage. We put in a cartridge filter, which was Brendan's recommendation. So again, maybe there is a sump hole that's necessary because of draining the pool. I'm unaware of that. So that's why I want to be sure I'm getting all the details right.
Right, so check into that. If
Okay.
it's not necessary, then we won't require it.
Okay,
It's
great.
just, we want to be sure, as Sam said, that you're not emptying the pool directly into
Of course.
wetland areas.
Yeah, great. Okay, so that's one question. And then specifically, I want to make sure I'm hearing you right, I guess a more formalized plan than
Yes.
the markings on the document I had already, related to the location or where the things like the infiltration system is going to be, or grades, or the controls, etc. And
Yeah, I don't think we're so much interested in elevations because
Okay.
you're already grass and you're already pretty flat there.
Yeah.
So elevations, for me, are not that as important as the area. How much of that area is going to be deck?
Yeah.
You know, what's the extent of that deck?
Foot or two.
Yep. The 50-foot buffer line is
Okay.
important
From
to
the edge of
us.
the wetland.
From the edge of the wetland.
Okay.
And, what else did I say?
Maybe where the infiltration is.
Where the
located.
Cultec chambers are, any drainage associated with it
Okay.
should be shown.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, through an RDA, technically, you know, you don't have to have a site plan, but we need to see the 50-foot buffer zone with this. A lot of people will put in hand-drawn, you know, drawings for an RDA.
Right.
If you were willing to add these things, that would be fantastic. It would be easier for you in the long run. The other option would be giving him a positive determination now and having him submit a notice of intent to require that kind of site plan. But if he's willing to provide more of a detailed site plan sketch, it doesn't have to be completely in-depth, but yeah, showing the locations, showing the extent of the impervious, and showing where the 50-foot buffer is. You know, if you're willing to do that, that would be very helpful in them making a decision for this.
Absolutely. Whatever is required, I want to provide. So if it's as, I call it simple, maybe it isn't simple, but put some of those markings, including details of the actual square footage of impervious
Right.
area. I think my landworks guy would be able to delineate where the expected locations of the infiltration systems are, and I guess I would just have questions about what I need to do to be sure I'm representing the proper setback lines to get them correct.
Yeah, that would be, you know, there should be, I don't know when this plan is from that I have up here. There's wetland flags, the AE 6 through 2 you can see up there. So it would be a matter of, I mean, for an RDA, if you have a long, whatever, 100-meter, 100-foot tape, you could take a tape from the edge of the wetland. I mean, that would be if the flags are still there. I don't
Sure.
know how old they
Yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah.
You would need a tape from the edge of the wetland out 50 feet to know exactly where you are. For an RDA, I wouldn't think they need necessarily the engineered plan, all that. A tape would be satisfactory if the flags are still up there.
Sure.
If the flags are not up there, you'd have to get the flags refreshed or have someone come out there and get a general location of the wetland line,
Okay.
and then go from there with it.
I mean, this here says 26 feet. And if you come off of the wetland, I think it's probably within the 50 foot. But it's close, so
Yeah.
it's worth having, we'd like to see where that line, where the setback line is.
Okay. So that would be the way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and normally for a notice of intent application, you'd have a wetland scientist go out there, do the flagging, and then an engineer would put it on a site plan with their, you know, with their CAD, whatever they have, and then show that exactly 50 foot. But because this is an RDA, if you have a 100-foot tape,
Yeah.
you can do it from the edge of the wetland line to find that spot, and then you would have to have whoever you have, if it's a land surveyor or your landscaper here, just get that point so we can see it on this.
On that drawing.
Yes.
Okay.
Any comments?
I'm sure Val knows about this as well, so he can help
Yeah.
me make sure we get it right.
Mark, I have a quick question too.
Yes.
Is this plan from a certificate of compliance, like after the previous work was done, or do we have a certificate of compliance?
Well, so as far as the pool that was permitted, it was just an RDA, so they don't have to get a certificate of
Okay.
compliance for an RDA.
That was an RDA.
Yeah, and as far as I'm aware, it was just, I think it's just been RDAs on this site. As far as I'm aware, I don't think there was ever an order of conditions issued, so they wouldn't need a certificate of compliance.
I don't have anything.
So I guess my question is just whether this plan is current, or whether it was whether it was done before the work for the pool was done.
This looks like,
That is that was the plan that was given to me by the building department.
Yeah.
I think at the conclusion of the order of conditions certificate of completion.
this looks like it's from 2023, the one that I have.
Oh, so
So I
maybe-
have a couple
yeah.
of them. And I think what they did was take, again, I don't know what it's from necessarily, building location plan, but either way, this is dated December 2023, November 2023, so they just took this old plan and drew on it for the RDAs, basically.
Okay.
They didn't get new site plans for it, it's from 2023.
Okay.
So we have no current site plan of what an as-built or anything like that, we just have this to go off of.
Okay.
Because like I said, with an RDA, it's not required that they have an engineered site plan. You could come in with some pictures and a hand drawing with an RDA and say, this is my proposal. But usually, what you guys will do, if it's within the 50-foot buffer, you'll say, this needs to be a notice of intent.
Yeah.
But if it's outside of the 50-foot and 100-foot, depending on the site conditions, you'll say, this is okay as an RDA application.
Okay.
So you're, like I said, your two avenues here are, if he's willing to add to this and you'll feel, better about approving it as an RDA, adding to this, adding the locations of things, getting the 50-foot buffer zone put on here, then we can move forward with that. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can issue tonight a positive determination, which would tell him, we're not allowing this as an RDA application. We want you to submit a full site plan with the notice of intent application. So those are your two options that you have to move forward.
And the previous RDA was approved
Yes.
when?
And it was approved, it looks like it was approved in 2025. So last year,
Okay.
there was a determination that determined, they gave a negative determination, which it was you guys, but a negative determination, a sump hole dry well must be constructed for pool drainage, and it was the installation of a 40 by 22 foot in-ground pool. So that was approved under a DOA.
I emailed, based on Jen's input, when I inquired about this, she suggested that I email with Brendan and ask some questions. So he had the original drawing. I updated it with that, and his response to me was, based on what I see here, an RDA should be fine. That was his response at the time.
And I think he, because it's within existing lawn, it's a relatively flat area, there's already been work approved in this area, I think that's why, that's his thought process on it. It's right, pretty close to the 50 foot, I can't, it's hard to tell from here, but.
And I agree with him. It's not wrong of him to feel that it's, we already approved the pool as an RDA, to make this a negative determination as well is not without question. But I feel uncomfortable doing so without more information. I don't know what you guys feel. Do you feel it's has the potential to be a negative RDA, or do we?
No.
Before you decide, could I speak, please?
We will give you an opportunity
Yeah,
to speak.
You
before
shouldn't
they
be
vote.
deciding things before.
We're not, we're having a discussion.
Okay. But you don't have all the facts, though, if I don't speak.
I think that I would not feel comfortable issuing a negative RDA right now. I'd want to see what you suggested.
Yeah.
And I'm on the fence about needing an NOI. I understand that we were the ones who approved the RDA previously, but just having gained more experience while being on the board, and I think I was an associate member at the time, maybe I wasn't, but I feel like it could potentially be an NOI-worthy project.
Sure. Okay. You are. Yes. Someone in the audience have any questions?
Yes, I do. I'm the next door neighbor.
Can you please come up and state your name and address?
My name's Rebecca O'Melia, 81 Old Farm Road. I live this property line. My house is on the other side of that. I don't believe this pool is shown the correct size, shape, or location, and I do believe it's inside the 50-foot buffer zone. In fact, they took out a whole bunch of trees from this area before they put the pool in, so that they had more room. And I have the current pictures of that as well. They've already put up a fence around it, they've already put the filtration system in, they've already cleared everything around it for putting the pavers in. This should have never been an RDA. I should have been notified as an abutter. This site is a wetland site with an order of conditions. And in addition to that, none of the stuff, the erosion control measures that are supposed to be along my property line were never dealt with. They're building a wall over here on this part of the site right now of large boulders that I don't see any kind of paper trail on whatsoever. It's extremely dangerous. It's not engineered. There's
Do you know how tall it is?
There is no wall being built. So,
baloney. I have pictures on my phone.
yeah, there's no wall being built. The boulders that are there were part of the construction at the
Oh,
time.
I have pictures from today of
All right,
it
can we-
there, and I've been
And there's a
listening to it all
riprap
week.
that's replacing
Don't lie.
mulch that was running off, and you're welcome to come have a look.
Yeah, I begged the town to come out and look at it today. There's a crew there working on it right now. That's today.
Yeah.
See the date?
It may not be within the 100-foot buffer zone
It is.
of the wetlands, so it may not,
Oh, the
we may
pool?
not have any jurisdiction over the wall.
Okay, but it's still, the whole site is a wetland site and everything on it should have been.
No, I mean, the
That is.
wetland is shown at the
You cannot build a
back.
wall that's over 4 foot tall without engineering it. What they're doing is super unsafe and dangerous. Even from a building code point of view, it does not meet bad Massachusetts building code. They have a toddler. It's crazy, crazy dangerous. Also, my whole property line with them, originally, this plan had probably changed. I have 2 previous editions of this that were amended. This is yet another one. I don't know which one is the correct one. The one that I have, this, as an abutter, was the last version that I got. And I had requested everything. So I don't understand what is going on with that. And then this whole property line, they never built a wall. The site was stripped, filled in with 4 feet of sand, and then there's just, it looks like this, a few boulders thrown at the edge, which this grade was totally different before, and now this whole slope, including part of my yard, is eroding. We have a giant boulder on our property that is
Ma'am,
probably 8 feet long.
We want to get back to the point of what's happening and what this meeting is about, which is about the
Well, I'm bringing
pool
up another
and,
whole issue, which is the order of conditions for this site
Okay.
has never been finished. That's even more important than this pool, but the pool is for sure within the 50-foot
do you know if that is the case, Sam, if we have an outstanding order of
have
conditions
to look
for
into it.
the construction of the house?
100%. I've been involved with this since 2018. It predates all of you on this committee. It predates your employment for this town.
I will look into that, though. If there's one, I can find it.
We're not employed by the town. We can't be
I know
employed
you're
by
not
the
employed
town.
by the town, but I knew all the previous members of this committee, and it my involvement with this predates this person's ownership, it predates all of you on this committee.
Ma'am, we're
And-
not saying that you're wrong. She just wants to look into it. Just
Okay, I'm just telling you.
No.
I'm telling you.
No, and we totally understand.
Okay.
We
And it's
just,
already been to the-
before we can get and make a decision, Sam's going to go ahead and do some more research
Okay.
to make sure
And there's-
that we have all our facts,
All right.
and then go from there.
All right, and another thing I want to say before you ask that is, this has gone to the state as well. Anything in Douglas that needs a building permit, and now this is the 3rd time I've mentioned this in open town meeting, anything that needs a building permit, including but not limited to pools, retaining walls, garages, sheds, anything of that nature that requires a building permit and is within the 100-foot buffer needs to come to this committee. And anybody else who's in a butter should be notified. It's not an RDA.
Anybody can apply for an RDA. They can request it be an RDA. That's their right. If they don't feel it meets, and then we have to decide whether it meets the requirements for a negative determination or an RDA. So that's what this applicant is doing.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I don't know anything about
Hey.
building and things like that.
Just
but
your name and address.
Yeah, Ken Whittemore, 81 Old Farm. the whole side is eroding. Like, we used to have trees all along there between the two property lines. The trees were torn out, most of them.
Yeah, they split everything.
Let me just say. And so it's all eroded, and we have like invisible fence that's all now exposed by this far. You can see how far it's eroded, and the rodents kind of bit through it. And that's just over, a few years. So I'm just wondering how those trees are all removed. Just know it's in a hole, so everything's going down every time it rains. So I don't know much about building. I'm not an engineer, any of this, but I'm just wondering if you have pool and water, is more going to erode with that, or how do we kind of stop that from happening? Sorry.
Okay.
Would it be right or appropriate to do a site visit for this, or should we hold, or what would you
It's
recommend?
certainly appropriate. I mean, we can, if we want to, do a site visit, yes. Yep.
Would you recommend that, Samantha?
If you don't, I mean, if you want to see the site yourself, you're welcome to, ask the applicant to do a site visit, for sure, yeah. They have an application through you. You're well within your right to ask for that. So, it's definitely worth going out there to take a look at. I know there's just been a long history with this one. But seeing as, they're gonna need to do a revised site plan anyway, it may be worth going out to take a look.
I'm okay with it. I just kind of wanted to see the site plan with everything on it, so when we go out, we know where everything is and where the actual start of the wetlands are. So when we walk out there, everything's kind of laid out for us, and we can take the map with us and we can
I'd agree.
look at it. That seems my only thing before we go out, but I don't mind going out at all.
I would agree with you guys. I think it's a site visit is warranted, and I think that it would be better if we had a more defined plan to have with us. So we're looking at that point, and we understand.
So you want to get the site plan first and then schedule the site visit based off that. So however close you can get a new site plan.
Sure.
If you can get a new revised plan tomorrow,
Sure.
great. And then Jen could reach out to you guys
And
and
we can-
schedule it, even if it's before the next meeting. If we get the site plan tomorrow, then you can schedule it whenever, so.
One other question is, on the plan, it has the proposed septic system. I know that's outside of our jurisdiction, but is that in the driveway still proposed, or is that installed already?
No, that was all completed and signed off on in the certificate of compliance that was filed with the state, satisfying the order of conditions for the building, for the build of the house.
Thank you.
When it rains, though, there's sitting water there.
Okay. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for coming in,
So
and
update that. Will I receive notes from the specifics of that, or do I just need to make those notes myself to make sure I get it updated correctly? I mean, I think I know what it is, but I just don't know if are there minutes that come out of this.
There will be
Yeah,
minutes that
okay.
come out.
Great.
Yeah. If I could potentially I'll send over to Jen,
Sure.
the exact bullet list. I have it written down anyway, so
Great.
if you didn't catch that, I'll send it over to her.
Great.
And then just to make sure you got everything.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
All right, old business. We've been requested to continue the public hearing for George and Sandra Kuipers, 23 Smith Hill Way, for construction activities within a 100-foot buffer, map 148, lot 18, to continue until June 15th. Before we vote, Do you know anything more about this as to why they requested continuance?
It seems, there's an email from Sandy, who is the owner, to Jen. She said, "Hi Jen, we would appreciate a little more time to get things in order for conservation. We are dealing with a devastating medical illness at this time." Thank you, Sandy. So I believe it's the husband, the owner, so they're having some medical issues. It was supposed to be on tonight's agenda for an update, basically, because what you wanted to see was to see if vegetation was growing up in that area and then go from there. So that's kind of what it was on for, but that's fine. Continue to June 15th, and then we can evaluate from there.
I know we wanted to have a get-together at the site.
Yeah, once it, yeah.
And we should wait on that.
Yeah, probably now, if, the situation happens. I mean, this did come out of an enforcement order, so we still do have an enforcement order on them, so they're under
Right.
enforcement, and they have the notice of intent
Right.
for the after the fact. So ideally, we don't want it to get pushed off
No. that's-
further, but if you feel comfortable waiting till June 15th to get an update, maybe we could go out, get some pictures beforehand, see how vegetation's growing up, and then kind of go from there.
If I may on that one,
Sure?
No, just,
Oh.
okay.
is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah,
Name and
yeah,
address?
I know the Kuipers wanted to, once the vegetation started growing out there, now I haven't been out there in the last few weeks, but they would like to bring the landscaper out there too and set up a visit with the commission on site if somebody's available, whether it's just you, Sam, or some of the commission members, so that you can take a look at what's actually growing and what the landscaper's proposing.
Just your name and company.
What's that?
Your name and your company, just for record, that's okay.
Sorry, Margaret Bacon, Civil Site Engineering.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Margaret. That's fine as long as they're not proceeding with any work prior to us seeing the site and coming up with a restoration plan. We're giving them time, but we're not giving them approval to do anything.
Right. And I appreciate that.
Any thoughts from
Well,
you guys?
okay, with the next meeting.
Just, doing the
Just
continuance
due to
till June
the
15th
circumstance, Yeah,
and waiting to do our site visit.
yeah.
Should we see if, just let them know that we're holding on doing the site visit, but if they'd like us to come sooner, if their circumstances change,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
change for the better, then
Yeah.
we'd be willing to go out there sooner.
Yeah, that to me is more important than having them come in here.
Exactly.
I want to do that, so. Okay,
When I talk to
Yep.
Jen, I'll let her know.
Okay.
all right. You want to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to continue until June 15th, 2026 for the NOI DEP 143-1129 for George and Sandra Coopers, 23 Smith Hillway.
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made by Jim and seconded by Kate to continue the public hearing for George and Sandra Kuipers, 23 Smith Hill Way, DEP number 143-1129, until June 15th. All those in favor?
Jim Forney.
Kate Rowland, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye. Okay, thank you. Next up is 6:30 PM, NOI DEP number 143-1131, public hearing continued, Deer Crossing Development, Inc., Woodland Road, road extension / wetland crossing number 2, map 250 and 237, lots 1 and 15. Meeting's now open.
Good evening. Margaret Bacon, Civil Site Engineering, and you used to have a,
Easel?
what happened to it? I'll just use a chair. That works. Okay, I'm here tonight just to kind of go over some of the loose ends on this project. There's a couple of items that were still outstanding with Graves Engineering, and the commission took a site walk so they could actually see what was going on. So basically, if you want, I can start with Graves Engineering's the stormwater comments. Okay, so they were pretty much good with everything, and you may have a copy of their response. So really what it comes down to on item, we addressed all their concerns, except for item number 4. And I think we talked about this when we were out there. This is at the basin that we're going to build, and Graves wants a 10-foot wide maintenance vehicle access around the top of that berm so his vehicles could access both sides. I didn't think it was necessary, but he mentioned in his letter, you know, if the highway super supports that, but I talked to the highway super and he says no, he's required to have that 10-foot. So this basin is going to get pushed out about 5 feet. Because right here at the top of the basin, that's only 5 feet wide. So we got to push that out another 5 feet to give it 10. So the bottom of the slope is just going to go out 5 feet, and this is a 20 scale, I believe. So it's not much, but, so there will be a little extra grading there to accommodate that. See, my opinion, you know, plenty of room on this side to be able to maintain that, but you know, the highway super say now is because of the new stormwater MS4s, they're requiring that now. So
How wide is the bottom of the basin?
the bottom of the basin is
Or actually from the top of from the berm to the
from the
berm?
top of the berm to the other side, we're talking about 45 feet.
Okay,
45 feet to 50 feet.
yep. And that's a dry basin, right?
Yes.
Mostly?
Yes. It's supposed to be, yes.
Okay. All
So
right.
it just makes the basin a little bigger. For vehicle access it.
Well, yeah, it pushes the slope out, as you said, another 5 to 10 feet.
So that was,
And so what's the closest point there from the wetland, that closest wetland point to the toe of the slope?
it's going to be.
Not there.
Moving that out 5 feet, so it's going to be like 60 feet.
Not there, from that point?
That over here is going to be 40 feet.
Okay,
Over here, probably 35 feet.
okay.
And these haven't changes, we haven't revised the plans yet, we're just going over all the changes and make sure everybody's on board before we, you know, revise another set of plans and submit it.
And what is that slope? 3 to 1 or 2 to 1?
3 to 1, 3 to 1, require inside and outside 3 to 1 slopes.
It's required, 3 to 1?
Yeah, on the stormwater, yeah.
Okay.
So that was one issue, so the plan will be revised to reflect that. The other issue, when we went out there on that meeting, here was the one-to-one replication, and you mentioned you thought we could do more, and you take a look over on the other side, and it was kind of nice and flat, so yeah, we can do more over there, so that would be more appropriate than, you know, you saw all the trees up there, and the hill,
Correct.
so really, what you can do down here, but, you know, it's all rocks. You saw all the rocks. You could really, but by the time they take those rocks out of there,
That'll be it.
Well-
That's all they need to do.
well, you can, and what you can do is you can kind of replace, you know, that little micro environment that's there, you know, just create it over here. You know?
Exactly.
Instead of just, you know, grade it flat and plant some plants.
That's what you missed, was seeing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, if you had woken up.
I know.
And then the other issue too, you see this red line right here? Those are those stakes that I staked in the middle of that stream. And then here's the culvert. So you can see how it does lean along one side of the culvert, but you know, when they put that culvert in, because of the rocks, this is all getting dug up, so. But you try to, you know, align these culverts so, you know, they're in line with, you know, the major flow of the stream.
Right.
So, those were the three biggies, and the other biggies, and I'm pretty sure Brandon said this at the last meeting, regarding the plantings I had along the side of the slopes. And he was pretty good with what the plantings we were suggesting. It's on one of these plans. Well, he went through them and he was okay with it. So basically what we're doing is we've got 2-to-1 slopes here. And instead of, you know, rock or whatever, we're just vegetating them with a certain type of plants that are good for slope stabilization. And these are 2-foot contours, so. I think, and if you look at up the road a little, they have almost 1-to-1 slope up there, and it's all vegetated, you know? So you get the right vegetation in there, that's all you need. And you call that, you know, bioengineering.
What are you calling out for the detention basin for revegetating or vegetating that?
What am I calling out?
Yeah, is there a seed mix that you're calling out? Is it plants?
It's just a conservation seed mix for the detention basin. But I know what I do on the slopes, what I like to do, and I did this over on Southeast Main Street, it came out quite nice, is I hydro seed those slopes with a conservation seed mix, also mixed in with a wetland seed mix. And a lot of the plantings I have proposed for these areas, some of the plantings like their feet wetter than others, and so they get planted towards the bottom of the slope, you know. And then the drier plants like the hay-scented fern, which is great for slope stabilization, upland plants, they get planted along the top. So I think I have blueberry, a lot of wetland plants and arrowwood and plants that can grow either or, you know, or in more semi-dry conditions. They don't have to be totally wet all the time. I think that's it. Is that it? That
Yeah,
all
looks
the
like
plants?
So I would like the floor of the detention basin to get the same mix of conservation seed mix and wetland seed mix that you're going to use on those slopes that you just mentioned.
And I think I have it in that other detail, but I'll make sure it is.
So Margaret, is the next step you're going to adjust the plans and?
Yes, my hope is tonight we're going to firm up all this and come back with a final set of plans. There's some other, you know, minor stuff Graves brought up in their comments about culvert size and culvert types, you know, the small drainage pipes to make sure they're all consistent. That's not a big deal. So we're going to address all those little comments. The biggie was this has got to get revised, that's got to get revised, and to make sure we're all good with the slope stabilization. I don't think there was really anything other than that was really outstanding. Yeah, if you go through Graves' comments, you know, minor stuff that, you know, we have a drainage outlet here with a certain size outlet pipe. They just wanted to revise it to a different type pipe. So we'll take care of all those comments on the final version.
Right. gate, are we missing anything that we saw when we were out there, talked about?
I think so, based on our site visit. And then I had one question though, about, I think I saw something about the owner preparing a covenant.
Oh, yes.
Is that?
Yes, yes. So that's going to be all part of it too, for future development of these lots that are going to have rain gardens and other stormwater structures that are outside the 100-foot buffer zone. So he's going to put covenants on every one of these lots so that they're required to do that.
Okay.
So even though it's outside your jurisdiction, somebody's got to, they're going to, part of the requirements through that method.
Be responsible.
Yeah.
And then who is it that owns and maintains the basin 5B?
Say that again?
Who is it that owns and maintains the basin?
Well, eventually, this is an approved subdivision.
Yep.
And this is the final phase. So eventually, it's going to be the town.
Okay.
And most of the stormwater, actually, this basin's only going to be taken from this cul-de-sac to about here. The rest of this stormwater's all been accounted for in that big basin that they already built.
Yep, got it. I think I remember you mentioning that the town would own it now. Forgot, thank you.
Hi.
Yep.
Ken Whittemore from 81 Old Farm. Pardon my ignorance, I didn't know this was happening, but where's the road? There's an existing road now that I see, but where is it going and kind of what's the purpose of what we're doing?
There's
Yep, thank you.
a little bit of a spur of road that was installed but not completed at the end of Woodland Road. And because they didn't complete it because there's only 5 houses on the end of it, and they had to go across a wetland to get there. So now, with the market being better and house sales better, I think now they would like to extend the road to what was approved previously.
Oh, Woodland then.
Woodland Road. Woodland
Is it
Road.
going to go beyond where it kind of, I walk down there, so beyond where it kind of ends right now?
Yes,
Or is
it goes
just
beyond, yes.
So none of the neighbors were
That's
notified.
the first I heard.
None of the abutters were notified. Nobody knows about this.
Well, let's see, I went to the assessor's office and got a certified abutters list and notified all the abutters that were on that list.
One of the concerns...
I wasn't notified. Sorry.
So one of the concerns, like they were going to build on a lot near us, right next to us, but it was stopped because the water, all the neighbors are losing their water. And so that would, I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah, the whole
Yes.
neighborhood draws off of the same water source.
And so they didn't want to build more houses, so I just don't see, if the big plan is to siphon off more water and tap more wells, that's my concern.
Well,
This is a bigger picture, I know, than just a road.
Yeah,
but-
so this was the original whole plan. This is the final phase. Here's the cul-de-sac that's there now, okay, just to get your bearings.
Yeah.
And so that's going to get extended across the wetland here and then up here to accommodate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more lots. Okay, they're all going to have their own wells and all their own septics. So basically what you have here, which is kind of nice about wells and septics, is because you have little site-contained systems. It's not like we're drawing a lot of water out of these wells, dumping them into a sewer, and then, shipping that water off somewhere else.
No, it's already been determined that I lost my well when the houses across the street were built.
All the neighbors.
And several other neighbors did.
Exactly.
And several well companies all said the same thing, that the entire neighborhood is drawing off of the same underground water source, which the wetlands feed. So this is all, it's all the purview of Conservation Commission.
That's a pretty big aquifer under this area, and I have...
It's not big enough for all the houses.
Well, I've talked to the Board of Health.
You don't live there.
I don't live too far from there, to be honest with you. And I
If
talked
you're
to
willing to
the,
pay
I've talked to the Board of Health, and I don't know if they have any failed wells that's been registered with them recently.
Oh, our neighbors came in and actually filed complaints, or filed these,
Was their well actually in failure?
yes. And they
Mine did.
they filed it with the town.
there were several people.
They were here, we just
We
found
saw
out
the-
about this. Let me just finish. We found about this today, so we notified the neighbors and they couldn't make it, but they have the same concerns that they did when they were going to build other houses.
Good evening.
In those.
Excuse me.
Just a minute.
Can I finish my thought? I'm sorry. No, but I'm a practical person. I don't know all the different ins and outs of all this, but I just have concerns that if the wells do go dry, how's the town going to get water to all these people? What's going to happen?
Well, I guess if you want...
Margaret, wait.
But I'm sorry. All right, I'm done. Thank you.
Person on Zoom, did you want to say something?
Sure. My name's Jack Nealon, Deer Crossing Development, 85 Main Street, Hopkinton. We're the applicant in this project, so any of the neighbors who want to reach out directly to us, I'm happy to review the project with you. It's been approved since '03. Not much has changed.
That expired.
And, at the time that you purchased your home, you could have seen this entire subdivision plan. These 5 lots have been approved since before any houses have been built in the subdivision. Happy to talk about water, happy to talk about wells. Deer Crossing Development does not own that lot on Old Farm, so that's a separate owner. We own these remaining 5 lots here, which is the approved extension of Woodland Road.
It's not approved.
So,
Okay,
It's not
thank you.
approved. The original plan was...
Ma'am,
2003,
hey,
expired
ma'am.
Years ago.
Ma'am,
Okay.
you have to speak through the chair, please, and request to say something. Is there something you would like to say?
Yes. The plan that he's referencing is from 2003. The data from it would no
Could
longer
you guys
be...
actually come up if you're going to talk?
Sure.
I'm just thinking of that because they're not going to be able to hear anything.
Oh, yeah, the plans that he's talking about are from 2003 and expired before I even moved here, which was 2015. So for him to say that they're approved is completely erroneous. And I
Ma'am.
don't believe that any...
When a subdivision plan goes before the planning board, it gets approved by the planning board, and it's in existence forever after that. So it is an approved plan. The subdivision plan is
By
approved.
conservation. I don't...
And he's not suggesting that. That's why he's before us now.
Yeah, so it's not, to say it's an approved plan when it hasn't been approved by all the parties that need to approve it is erroneous.
I'm just clarifying that the subdivision layout plan is an approved plan. The conservation requirements are not
I was
approved.
told by the previous town engineer that it has an expiration date and it had expired.
Excuse me, through the chair,
Yes.
would it be okay if we strictly focus on conservation issues? I feel like we could easily get off topic with planning and engineering, and we're
I
pretty
am-
far along in this project. Margaret's been in front of you folks 3 or 4 times now. We just want to kind of focus on what the commission would like to see specific to what we've talked about in the previous meetings.
I understand that, sir.
Any butters are more than welcome to.
I understand that, sir. That's why I am answering her question. We're not going to continue that discussion any further. Thank you, though. Any other questions regarding the wetlands and the permit or in the request?
Yeah, I want to look at the plans, I haven't seen them.
All right, well, you're
can also-
welcome to look at the plans. You can take the plans from, or look at the plans in the municipal center.
No, yeah, I want digital copies, not that.
Okay, you can request them from Jen Kuchar, who is our person in
Yes, I know.
the community development
Very
office. Okay. So, Margaret, you're going to make these adjustments and bring the plans forward again at,
Like I said, we just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page with the replication area, and I had to adjust the basin, but I think other than that, yeah, we will make all these revisions and we'll get you a final plan.
okay,
And then, so we'll keep obviously the hearing open till then.
right. All right. Do you want to continue this till our next meeting, or do you?
June
What?
1st and June 15th are the two dates. Sorry.
I would say, I would think June 15th, Jack?
That works well for us.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have anything more, Sam, that you want to
I was just going to say,
make
I'm
mention of?
satisfied with the replication area, complying with the bylaw, for sure. That was one of my concerns to begin with. And then, did we discuss, I wasn't here last meeting, but I don't know if a phasing plan was discussed at all. I know you said you were going to kind of say it verbally as far as phasing with the project goes.
For what, the culvert crossing?
Yeah, with the culvert crossing, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll include that in the replication page.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Just so we have an idea of what
Sure.
the phasing's going to be. But otherwise, I have no further comments.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion?
Make a motion to continue to June 15th, 2025 for our next meeting in regard to the NOID P143-1131 Deer Crossing Development, Woodland Road, road extension / wetland crossing number 2, map 250 and 237, lot 1 and 15.
Is there a second? Okay, a motion's been made by Jim and seconded by Kate to continue the public hearing until June 15th at 6:30 PM. A roll call vote.
Jim Foran, aye.
Pete Roland, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
And Rebecca, just so you know, I already requested, we always have an easel here, because I heard you out there, because you couldn't see it high enough.
Anything.
No, ma'am, I understand that. So I requested to make sure it was going to be here, because it's always here for our meeting. Someone probably borrowed it, but I just wanted to let you know that I made sure it will be here for next time.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think it should be on the screen because some of the people are attending via Zoom and you can't see anything to comment if it's just on paper.
Well, maybe they can.
And I'm a computer person, so I...
Thank you, duly noted.
We're good?
Good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, have a good night.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, up next, South Street Enforcement Order update.
Okay, so I don't know if anyone's here on behalf, but before Mr. Tassino talks, where we left off with this was we received input from town council regarding if this property qualifies as land and agricultural use under the Wetlands Protection Act, because that is what the applicant is claiming at the moment. The owners are claiming that they are applicable to the Wetlands Protection Act, land and agricultural use. There was a certificate mailed to us, and of course I don't have it physically, but we received a certificate that basically said that the owner boards horses on site and provides riding lessons and such. So according to town council and Brandon's research from this, they are not seeing anything in the Wetlands Protection Act that would qualify that kind of activity to be land and agricultural use under the Wetlands Protection Act. Now, I do have a memo that we wrote in combination with town council to address this issue. I'd like to go through it just so you guys were all on the same page. So this is from May 12th. So it says, this is in response to the email received by the Conservation Commission from Jim Tassino dated April 23rd, 2026 regarding activities on the property at 0 South Street. In a follow-up to the Commission's previous October 7th, 2025 enforcement order and requiring that you provide proof of your claimed farming activities, which you have stated exempt from the property from the Wetlands Protection Act and its regulations. As you know from the order, you were cited for several violations of the Act as required to cease unpermitted activities specified in the enforcement order and to submit a restoration plan to the commission by January 6, 2026. You did not do so, as the commission reminded you in a letter dated February 22nd, 2026. Rather, Jim Tassino claimed on your behalf that your activities are exempt as agricultural activities. At the commission's meeting of April 6, 2026, the commission requested that within 60 days you provide sufficient documentation to demonstrate that your land qualifies for land and agricultural use as defined in 310 CMR 10.04. Therefore, on Thursday, April 23rd, 2026, the commission received a certificate of standing letter dated April 22nd, 2026 from the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources. This letter certified that M2R Equestrian Athletics LLC, operated by Morgan Norton Stable Riding School, is licensed by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources, Division of Animal Health, and that the operator in business is currently licensed and in good standing. Additionally, an annual report for M2R Equestrian Athletics LLC submitted to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Secretary of State William Francis Galvin Corporations Division was provided as supplementary documentation for the Commission's consideration. After careful review of the above referenced documents and further verification of exemptions for land and agricultural use under the Act and its regulations, the Commission has concluded that the stable/riding school business does not qualify as land and agricultural use under the Wetlands Protection Act. If you disagree and have evidence to the contrary, please provide it to the Commission. Pursuant to 310 CMR 10.04, land and agricultural use is defined as land within resource areas or the buffer zone presently and primarily used in producing or raising one or more of the following agricultural commodities for commercial purposes. 1. Animals, including but not limited to livestock, poultry, and bees. 2. Fruits, vegetables, berries, nuts, maple sap, and other foods for human consumption. 3. Feed, seed, forage, tobacco, flowers, sod, nursery or greenhouse products in ornamental plants or shrubs. And 4. Forest products on land maintained in forest use, including but not limited to biomass, saw logs, cordwood, but not including the agricultural commodities described in 310 CMR 10.04, agricultural A1 through 3. Further, it is the land itself that must be in agricultural use, and the use must be for commercial purposes to allow certain normal maintenance or improvement of that land and certain specified activities that are not subject to the Act. In this circumstance, boarding, grooming, feeding, and maintaining riding paths do not constitute raising an agricultural commodity because no commodity grown on the premises is being sold. For example, if the owner is breeding horses and charging for the service, or growing hay to feed the horses and charging customers for hay, that may qualify in land and agricultural use under the Act. This is not an exhaustive list. If the owner continues to assert the agricultural exemption, a request for determination of applicability should be filed with the Commission, outlining the activities applicable to the Wetlands Protection Act and providing receipts showing that the property's use constitutes commercial land and agricultural use. Unless receipts of the claimed use are submitted to the Commission, the owners/operators must comply with the enforcement order issued in October of 2025 by submitting a restoration plan for the impacted resource areas on site. As stated in the previous letters to you dated February 2nd and April 13th, 2026, this matter has been added to the May 18th, 2026 agenda. The Commission requests that all new materials regarding this issue be submitted by June 11th, 2026 for the June 15th, 2026 meeting. For any questions or concerns regarding this letter, please contact the Conservation Commission office for additional questions. So that was our findings.
Point of order. It says, she read 2 times in there, which this is confusing me.
Could you state your name and address, please?
Jim Tassino, 14 West Street, Douglas, GBI. That the commission already approved the issuance of that letter. And the commission, you folks, already denied the agricultural use. But I think you're hearing that for the first time today. And I don't think you voted on it yet. So I don't think that is completely accurate. And I didn't plan on going there, and I didn't even understand that. Mr. Ryan received that letter today. I haven't received a copy of it yet, although it says it CC'd me. So that's just a point of order. It says you've already reviewed, the commission has already reviewed the information and has already discharged the information as not supporting of the agricultural use and that goes on to say the commission is requiring other things. But judging by me seeing it for the first time about 2 hours ago, and you all, I think you heard it for the first time today, and it's just a point of order. I didn't plan on debating the logistics of it, but no one's heard this before, am I correct?
I've seen the letter.
I've also seen it.
You've seen it before tonight?
Yeah.
And you voted on it to,
There was no voting.
but it says they didn't approve the information. So
It did
the
not
other
say it
point
was
of
voted
order is,
upon.
the other point of order is, my email that went with that doesn't appear to be included in the documents you referenced, but my email is really the gist of it.
I have your email right here. So
Okay, so if I may read it for the record.
Yep.
Yes.
Hi, Jen.
Sorry.
At the previous meeting, the commission requested documentation serving as proof as the Norton's farming activities. Over the years, the Nortons have maintained detailed tax returns that reported revenues and expenses associated with the farming operation. However, providing tax returns is not considered appropriate in this context, as the documents contain sensitive personal information and are not intended for public disclosure. To address the commission's request, a couple of publicly available documents have been attached. These documents, sourced from the web, establish the Norton's ongoing engagement in farming activities. The property in question is unmistakably a farm. The Nortons are operating a commercial farming enterprise. The attached information should significantly satisfy the commission's request of proof of farming activities. Should it be necessary to attend any future meetings to discuss the matter further, please inform us accordingly. The Nortons have, and I previously request access to the original complaint information, for this information can be provided. If you, I would greatly appreciate it. Please indicate if a public records request will be required to obtain this documentation. So, it ends with some pleasantries. Just on these documents, if you go to the back page, it says horse trainer, horse sales and leasing, equestrian riding, coaching, horse boarding, and horse rehabilitation. They buy horses, they raise horses, they sell horses. I did a bunch of resources, I did a bunch of research, and I further want to point out one particular thing that we touched on briefly at the last meeting. I did want to catch up on those minutes from the last meeting and watch it. I think it's on TV. I did not have time to do that today because I was working and had to change my schedule to be here in time for the meeting. I think if I paraphrase, it'll be good enough. If you need to go back and watch that meeting to confirm or dispel what I say, please do. We refer to this as recent disturbances. All of the maps the town is using and the wetland specialists that the Nortons hire use maps, satellite imagery from 2023, quite dated and not recent. Our wetlands expert have overlaid the flags onto that map and confirmed that's how it exists today. From 20 to 22, Mr. Norton had meetings at the site with the then Conservation Commission agent to review what he was doing. That conservation agent reviewed the matter on 2 separate occasions, the town engineer on 2 separate occasions. One time they were together. So he has been cleaning up the site. But he hasn't done much work since 2023 because of the funds didn't support that. So it's dated. We're 2-3 years old. So we know that satellite imagery, and I had the date of this in my office, was sometime in the spring of 2023, and the work was completed prior to that. We know Steve Zisk was at the site in 22 and 23, leaving services of the town as late as June in 2023. Again, I'm just believing from memory that that's what it is. So a couple of problems I have is, again, with this report. The site inspection was done in October. The report wasn't made available, and it refers to it as recent. It wasn't recent. It was already 3 years old when it was evaluated. And we know this from the imagery that we all provided. We confirm it with our own imagery. We know that the agent that visited the site in October did augers. It was more than 5 and less than 50. I I've read that from my notes. We know there was no hydric soil. So what I think happens is she confirmed what the wetlands scientist, the wetlands expert that went out there, Mr. McHugh, flagged, that he did not fill any wetlands, and he's in fact in just the buffer area, which was reviewed and approved by the conservation agent on a couple of occasions earlier. That said, the letter sent, and it does reflect a CMR. A CMR is Code of Mass Regulations. It would be agricultural commodities for commercial purposes. So I think we've already answered that the Nortons are commercial. I don't think you're disagreeing with that, but if you are, I'll be happy to come back with the tax returns, but you can see that they're doing it for hire. It includes animals, including but not limited to livestock, poultry, and bees. Believe it or not, agricultural, livestock, and cattle have made it all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. The definition adopted by the Supreme Court of the United States basically says livestock are the domesticated animals that are raised in the agricultural setting mainly to provide labor and to produce diverse animal products. Labor. Those horses definitely produce labor when they're giving trail rides, when they're giving lessons, when they're being rehabilitated, when they're born, when they sell them, when they raise them. So to say having horses in a commercial or non-commercial environment is not agricultural is slightly laughable, okay? Now, I did reach out to the DEP, and they were almost no help, But the Massachusetts, what they sent me was the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection defers to the state statute, Mass General Law 128, Section 1A, for the general legal definitions of farming and agriculture. When you go to the Massachusetts General Law website, specifically Chapter 20, it says, farming or agriculture shall include farming in all of its branches and cultivation, tillage of soil, dairy, production, cultivation, growing, harvesting of any agricultural, aquacultural, floricultural, horticultural commodities, the growing and harvesting of forest projects on forest land, the raising of livestock, including horses, right in the law. The keeping of horses as a commercial enterprise. I just want to reread that for the commission before they do take a vote on any of this. It says, the growing and harvesting of forest products upon forest lands, the raising of livestock, including horses, the keeping of horses as a commercial enterprise, the keeping and raising of poultry, swine, cattle, and other domesticated animals used in food processing, bees, fur-bearing animals, and any other forest, blah, 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 blah. And you can definitely read it on your website yourself. So when you scour the DEP, they actually...
Jim, could you, do you have copies of that?
I don't have
you
copies.
could hand out?
I'm really sorry, but I got back and I was late, and I didn't even know there was a meeting tonight. So I consider myself unprepared, sir, and I would have shaved. I usually would not come to a meeting if I didn't shave. I'm embarrassed. I did not shave.
I didn't shave either, so we're in the same boat.
Yeah, but you're the boss. You don't have to shave. I'm just the guy here making a present. I would have had a shirt with buttons on it, and I would have shaved. Can you picture me shaved with a shirt with buttons? Because I was in the field all day. I had no plans to come to the meeting, and I apologize. I would have had.
You don't have to apologize.
I would have had copies. So
we can make copies. We can make copies.
The DEP, if you scour it, actually refers to Chapter 20, Section 28 as well for these definitions. And oddly enough, the agricultural definition is just merely restated in Mass General Law, Chapter 20, Section 28. The Douglas right to farm pretty much restates in its entirety, but it expands with a bunch of other examples of what agricultural and farming is under definition section 2 of that article, right? So livestock cattle,
The right to farm, when was that voted in?
I don't know.
I think it was this.
Last fall.
But,
Just this past fall.
but what
So it
we're-
really is not applicable.
Well, but I'm just saying they're using the same definitions. The town is using the same definitions over and over again. The other problem, the other thing that I discovered was that, I guess I don't really need to go into that. The bylaw says the same thing. It talks about animals, it talks about livestock, right? So in the letter that the commission has, that the consultant sent Brian and myself, it says animals, including but not limited to livestock. The definition of livestock I read to you, okay? That is pretty straightforward. And believe it or not, I think it was Washington, the state of Washington versus somebody that used that same word. And the definition of livestock cattle come out of this appellate court thing that somebody was arguing. I mean, we're not arguing, but somebody was debating livestock. Now, I'm going to tell you, it was dated. It was 1888 that this information was debated at the appellate court. But to say that horses aren't livestock in Douglas is borderline ridiculous. It really, I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence. I know hundreds of people that have horses that live in town, and they're all next to streams and ponds, and I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I have horses, and I consider them livestock. That's just the way it is, and I apologize again for being discombobulated. I didn't get that letter until an hour before I got here. I didn't know there was a meeting until after lunch today, so I'm not very well prepared. The other thing that I don't want to describe her incorrectly because she might get offended, but so. The Massachusetts Supreme Court talks about a 2-year procedural limitation on enforcement orders seeking to collect fines. So I don't know exactly how that exists. I haven't read the case law on that. And then the other thing specific to conservation is there's a 3-year statute of limitations for repose. Now, we know it existed at that satellite imagery sometime in early 2023, right? So what we're talking about that we actually referred to as current in one of the letters happened before that satellite imagery, and most of it was done before the last satellite imagery, except for the last little piece of it. I don't know if you remember, but that was 2021. So the lion's share of what we're talking about was accomplished prior to that satellite imagery in 2021. So I think he's a farm all day long. I really believe that. I mean, I think legally, I don't know, I mean, if that's where we're going, but to say that having horses is not a farm in Douglas, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And now, so I do have, so let's go back to why I'm here. I was here in April, I believe it was the first part of April, and you gave me 60 days, you gave us, Mr. Norton was here, he gave us 60 days to prove that he was a farmer. So that would bring us to someday in June, okay? Now, I thought I submitted enough information, and it was relatively quick. The Nortons did give me a laundry basket full of tax returns that show what they're buying, what they're spending, who they're hiring, what they're doing, and it's pretty good for tax returns. But every single page has some number on it that needs to be redacted, and I don't even know if some of it they would consider as proprietary to their operation, right? So I decided not to send that to the commission on my own. I went online, tick, 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 tick. I searched a couple of simple records. I printed them off, I scanned them into one PDF file, I attached them to that email I read. So...
Thank you for sending them over.
Well, I tried to do it as quick as possible.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you.
But now, I think, if you're not going to accept that and you want more information, I have until June 6th to provide that information. That's what I think. But you need to tell me you don't like the information. And that's the letter I got today, pretty much says Brandon and the agent, the consultants, don't like the information. But I think
You're presenting some additional information tonight as well.
the Mass General Law is not additional information. It's not.
You're presenting some additional information to us that we are not knowledgeable of.
That's fair.
And so I think we need to have an opportunity, just as we wanted to give you the opportunity to review what's being presented again and discuss that.
I appreciate that. But the way I read that letter, I'll be honest, I was reading that letter while I was driving. The way I read that letter is you guys all met, and this is what you did. And I didn't even know there was a meeting.
No.
And now I feel better that there wasn't a meeting where
No, we couldn't have done
But
that.
that's what the letter sort of inferred that to me when I read that letter in its entirety.
I can understand how you would feel that way,
Yeah.
looking at it.
But my point I want to leave you with, because, and I'm surprised you're so early tonight with all that stuff you had. I'm pretty impressed.
Well, you did take up a lot of time last time.
Yeah. And I kept my mouth shut for all of those other things. I kept my mouth shut. This is what I believe to be true. I do believe the Nortons have a farm. I do believe Ryan Norton is one of the most sincere people I've ever met in my whole life. And he had questions. He inquired to the conservation. The conservation agent met him on site. Now, I know previous discussion is, well, the conservation agent can't bind the board, which I don't disagree with, but I heard Ms. Carew say to a bunch of people, I'm going to come out and look at it, I'm going to come out and look at it, I'm going to come out and look at it. So if she were to go out someplace and look at it and say, hey, no, you're all set, don't worry about it. Like, that would be the end of it. I'm sure that would be the end of it. Now, I don't know if she took an oath to uphold the bylaws or how it works with a consultant, but I know Steve took an oath because I was working for the town at the same time, and I took an oath every time I was appointed. So I'm assuming that the conservation agent takes oath, like all of you folks take an oath when you get the job, right? So I think I thought we were on the right track last time. I really did. I thought I came in, I made some good points, and you guys seemed open to it. And then after I read the letter, I thought we fell off the rails. So I'm hoping we can get back on the track. I'll be happy to leave you, copies that I didn't write notes in the margins on, for sure. You don't need to write the farm thing. I mean, I'll leave you the Mass General Law. We have a program.
Even if you just want to,
I could email them in if you want, but I can leave
yeah,
them
that's
too.
fine. I was going to say, just, we can jot down the Mass General Law that you're referring to, the whatever.
And you guys do
whatever
have
the
my
section is. Yes, we have your email.
And I have the taxes. I mean, the Nortons left me these taxes. I'll be more than happy in a private setting, come in and go through the taxes with you. I'm not opposed to doing that. I just don't know what that accomplishes, because I started to think about this. I have a couple of horses. I think I'm a farm because I have 60 acres, 70 acres. Now, whether I'm a commercial farm or a non-commercial farm, that's the difference. I am still
and
a farm.
a difference is what the Wetlands Act considers to be a
And I agree
farm,
with that.
which may be different from what you, as a homeowner, continues to be a farm,
No,
or from...
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
I believe that even if it is considered a farm, there's still not a blanket, just like there still needs to be a restoration plan, even if it's not a farm. So like the Wetlands Act it doesn't require, I'm not speaking properly, but I don't know. So
You're right. I mean, we're at the point right now where we're just trying to figure out, is it a farm, is it not?
But that's...
Even if we do determine it is a farm, there's certain limitations to that, even being a farm.
Yeah.
In the Wetlands Protection Act, there's certain limitations to what you can and can't do. It's not just, like you said, it's not just a blanket of I can go in and fill whatever and do whatever. There's limitations to what you can do. I do want to clarify that this letter was reviewed by town council, and town council gave edits to this entire letter, so that this did not just come from Brandon and myself in the company. So I do want to clarify that, just for the record.
I can appreciate that, but it didn't come from the commission. And that's what the commission is, the local flavor of the community, okay? Now, What I will add, though, is the big difference with an agriculture and non-agriculture. Agricultural can fill a buffer zone. They can work inside the buffer zone. Now, I'll tell you, there's, even if you read all of the regulations ad nauseum, you could square off a field if it required filling some of the wetlands. You can't do a massive filling in a wetlands or any type of filling that's not a purposeful filling to make a field or a ring straight, or build a permanent building, even in that buffer zone. So if you wanted to erect a big, huge building with a foundation in the buffer zone, then it would go through the process. If you were going to build a temporary horse shelter, cow shelter, pig shelter, swine shelter in the buffer zone, and it wasn't really attached to the ground, then you could do that. You could build a temporary winter shelter in that resource area. I mean, because that's what the state law, the state regulation says, not the law. And your bylaws pretty much follow that, except for some spelling errors in your bylaws. Other than that, it's perfect. But I don't want to ask the board for anything, and I want to go home. Can we agree that it's a farm?
We cannot agree on that this evening. My recommendation is we need more from town council. As town council stated in this letter, if the owner continues to assert the agricultural exemption, a request for determination of applicability at minimum should be filed to provide all of the necessary documentation that is needed to say that this is a commercial land and agricultural use. Because from what was submitted already, town council and Brandon do not agree that this is land and agricultural use based off of the things that were submitted thus far. So I think we need more information. I, again, would like more input from town council as to moving forward. That's kind of where we lie at the moment.
I just don't know how. I mean, the letter that you guys are providing says livestock. The definition of livestock is crystal clear. It's just a handful of words. It's not even something that can stump you. You can interpret it. That's the problem. So we're talking about a CMR that's based off the law, that's based off all sorts of appellate decisions. Livestock, we agree somebody typed and italicized the word livestock in your letter, okay? And it was included in the CMR because that's the word. And it's included in the Mass General laws because that's the word. And so we can wiggle around it and we can try to say you didn't type the word livestock, but you did. And the definition of livestock is just a couple of sentences. It really is just a couple of sentences. If you're getting advice of counsel to tell you that's not a farm because livestock is not really livestock, I would solicit new counsel.
We need proof of services, proof of commodity, proof of services. However that's normally done, I'm not aware, but we need proof of services, and that's part of it.
So you talk about a request for determination, okay? This is my problem with the request for determination. I recently did one when I didn't think I had it, okay? But I could afford to do it. So Mr. Norton, not Mr. Ryan, has already lost a year on his property because of the cease and desist. Now, last time you guys did talk and he started doing his cleanup stuff again, which is good. But he's lost a year. So we've hindered his operation financially by restricting him, okay? Then he hires an environmental consultant to go out there and flag the wetlands. And most of the delay is caused by the snow that happens during this time. So he's out a couple of $1,000 for this environmentals. And if you tell me you're going to waive the fee for the RDA, I'm going to go back and start working on it. But to ask him to pay $500 to them, $200 to you, and then an ad is ridiculous when he thinks he's a farm. Steve Zisk told him he was a farm in 2022. He hasn't done much work out there since 2022, early 2022. So make him spend $700-800. I mean, to make you believe now he's a farm is ridiculous. If you guys can vote on not waiving the fee for him I will put together a request for determination. If you're not going to waive the fee, I cannot recommend that he spends that money. He's already got a ton of money spent that's not going to do him any good, and we've damaged him by delaying him almost a year. So can you guys vote on waiving the fee? And I'll go back and I'll work on it tonight.
Well, I kind of feel that we're getting off track.
Well, it's money, and
Can I speak?
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry.
Thank you. You know, we are the Conservation Commission. We rule on wetlands issues and other issues that impact wetlands. We're not, we're not lawyers. We're not, and so, to try to put us in a position of determining whether this is a farm or not a farm, I don't want to be in that position as a Conservation Commission, really. I just want to get back to doing what we're supposed to do, and that is protecting wetlands. We seem to be not worried about that at this time. And so I want to get back to being worried about, whether there's been wetlands that have been filled and whether what we can do to protect the site.
I appreciate that. I served on this committee many, many years ago for a long time. So this is what we know for sure, though, just to comment on what you said. We did not fill wetlands. She did augers at the site between 5 and 50, never found hydric soil. We hired a wetlands person that actually put the flags in, and the flags are before any grading took place. So there's a piece of real estate.
Jim, that's your feeling as speaking for your client that he didn't fill any wetlands. But looking at all the information, the GIS information and all that, looking at the site, looking at the dirt there and how it's been moved around, it is our consultants' feeling that wetlands have been filled there, and that they've been filled to the extent that we couldn't reach the hydric soils with the auger because it was too deep. So that's why we don't have any positive tests, but it seems like wetlands were filled in that area. So, you can disagree. You can disagree.
But the map supports that based on the overlay of all the previous maps, right? Where that little brook is, where that wetlands is, where they flagged the wetlands when they built the house to the right. It is all consistent. There's no discrepancies in it. Mm-hmm. There's none. There's really none. So I don't know. I don't know why we're there, but again, we're talking about stuff that is done in 22. That conservation agent was involved in that. So
and we have no proof of that. We just don't have the proof of that. I don't know what to say. But what year
it was done in 22?
Do we?
Yeah, because this is a map from 23 and this is a map from 21. We know that it was done between 22 and 23. That's
the work was done, is what you're talking about.
Clearing, the cutting down of the trees that were diseased. Now, oddly enough, he didn't haul any fill in there from any other site. That was all.
I'm not suggesting that he did.
No, I know, but and if you look at all the topography maps, it's all relatively flat. It was relatively flat on all the topography maps. It's relatively flat today. Now, so when I left last time, I thought we had to prove it was a farm, and then this matter would be behind the board, and it would be behind the north.
Yeah, and I don't want to have you do a request for determination if there's no, what's the end game for that? I don't understand really what the end game is, the request for determination, Sam.
That was suggested by town council, I think, just to, if they were still gonna say and claim that it was land and agricultural use, just to get all the information in. Now, I mean, technically they do have, as Jim said, until June 11th to get in any more information. So if they have receipts, whatever it may be, to prove it's a commodity. Any new information that's going to help will be helpful towards this. They have till June 11th. You voted on that to allow them to have that time to submit any new information to prove that this is land and agricultural use under the Wetlands Protection Act. So that's up to their representative to do the research to see what's required under that and what's required to be submitted to the commission. All I know is that what was submitted here, when town council reviewed it, they did not feel that this was sufficient to prove that this is with land with an agricultural use.
All right, well, go ahead.
Even if it is land and agricultural use, there are still going to be steps that need to be taken, so it's not it doesn't just...
What steps would need to be taken?
Under the Wetlands Protection Act, like you said before, there's certain things you can and can't do within land and agricultural use. So then, even if this was land and agricultural use, we would still need some type of proof as to the activities that were conducted are applicable and you're able to do under land and agricultural use. Then you would need to bring documentation forward to us as to, okay, this is why I'm complying with the Wetlands Protection Act, this is what we did, this is how I'm complying, and then we go from there. I mean, there's in the Wetlands Protection Act, there's certain things that you can and can't do in land and agriculture.
You can fill the resource, you can fill the buffer zone in the wetlands.
I don't want to have this conversation right now. There's certain things you can and cannot do, and that's, you know.
I really appreciate your time.
There's part of that, but.
Thank you for your time. Do you want me to leave the copies of the Massachusetts general laws with you so you can read them?
No, thank you. Well, not for me. I'm good. I have it online.
I do too. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
They have till June 11th to get you more information, and then I think we go from there.
I'm confused.
It's all right, Mike, I am too.
Yeah, I want to say, what just happened there?
Are we still allowed to talk about it?
No.
I have.
No, we need to stop talking about it.
Okay.
I mean, we are in open session. I mean, it is being recorded. I don't think.
I mean, it's an update
I don't
to an
think.
enforcement order, but
I think we should just kind of chill and then we'll get more direction.
we have until June
Yes.
11th.
Do you want to do the minutes?
Yeah.
Or do you want to put them to next? And then I know if whatever, then I need to make a motion to continue.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're at the 2-hour mark. It's up to you, sir.
Yeah, let's continue and get this over with.
All right, make a motion to extend tonight's meeting after the 2-hour mark for another 30 minutes, maximum.
Second.
All right, motion's been made by Jim and seconded by Kate to extend the meeting another half hour if necessary. Roll call vote.
Jim Forney.
Kate Rowland, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Monjam, aye. All right.
Okay, Sam, go ahead.
Okay, so I know you guys want to leave, but I got a call from DEP a couple weeks ago regarding 288 Northwest Main Street. We had approved recently a certificate of compliance for work being done at this site. There was some back and forth as to, you know, was there additional things that had been constructed on site, and that's kind of how this was a controversial one that went back and forth a little bit. So you ended up approving the certificate of compliance. This is just background. Anywho, their DEP got a complaint. The town did not get a complaint, but DEP got a complaint from someone on a kayak looking at the site, claiming a couple things, claiming there was repairing going on of the retaining wall, concrete getting mixed, disturbance of the shoreline, a large pipe discharging into the pond. So I have not been there, I have not seen it. This is coming from DEP, from someone that looked in from the pond. So DEP was asking us if we knew about it, if there was anything we had done about it. I said I haven't heard anything. I contacted Jen. Jen has not gotten a complaint at the town hall either. So my recommendation, if you would like, is to, request that somebody come in from the site.
And that was 288 what?
288 Northwest Main Street.
Northwest, okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I had that right.
So you could do a cease and desist if you wanted to. Now, I don't have any photos. I don't have anything like that. We could also just either have Jen reach out to the owner and say, hey, can you come into the next meeting, explain what's going on? We could write a letter to them to say, we were requesting you attend the next meeting. Those are kind of the avenues you could go. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention because I got a call from DEP about it. So you can choose what you'd like to do next. If you want to bring it up in the next agenda, have them come in, explain their side of things, and then we go from there. And that's where we're at.
I think we should probably just do the cease letter, right?
I disagree.
And have them come in? Or no?
No, I don't want to base our decision tonight on a letter or a call from somebody on a kayak to the DEP.
Okay.
I'd like to go by and look at the site and see, maybe ask the homeowner if we can do a site visit and look and see.
I'm okay with that.
You okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, so it can go through Jen and she could contact them and say, hey, are you open to the commission coming and doing a site visit? And then I still recommend them getting on the next agenda or June 15th, even because after your site visit, you're going to have feedback, but.
Yes.
Is DEP looking for a response from us?
No, not necessarily. She just wanted to let me know and see if we knew anything about it, so. She's just responding to a complaint.
Would the homeowner know if there was a complaint or not?
No, not necessarily.
I didn't think so. So if Jen contacts the homeowner, she would state
That there's been a
we've
complaint.
received a complaint. Would you mind if a Conservation Commission member or whatever came out and took a look? Okay.
Yeah.
And I would say,
Isn't that kind of like technically it should go through the town, not through a department? Or is that, I'm just asking the technicality of.
Well, we could, again, it can get sent through a letter and just say, hey, we've received a complaint. We receive complaints all the time, it happens. The complaint, if it's within jurisdiction to you guys, it goes through the Conservation Commission, which in this case would be jurisdictional to you. So it goes through the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
It's just a matter of the route you want to take to
gotcha.
do that, And Jen can reach out to them and say, we've received a complaint. Are you open to having the commission come down there to take a look at it? If they're not, you could do a cease and desist and then require them to come in here and then require a site and make it a little bit more formal, we can go from there when we get to it.
Okay.
But I think that's a good first step, just having Jen contact them and we'll go from there.
Okay. I'm good with it. I'll make sure I check my email more frequently.
yeah, we'll have to decide if we want to do a public meeting and more than, is it one or two? More than, if
It's
more
a
than.
quorum, so
So quorum's 3.
it would 3.
So if only 2 of us go,
then
it's.
it wouldn't need to be a public hearing.
Okay. Whether we want to actually have a quorum and, have a public meeting or just have 1 or 2 of us go and see it. So,
I don't care either way.
okay. I'd rather just be 1 or 2 of us go. 2 of us would be best.
It makes it easier.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sam. I have a couple things I wanted to bring up. One is we received a letter that there's an appeal on one of our projects. And is there anything else that we have to do in regards to that at this time?
There's nothing we have to do it right now, so it's 48 Shady Lane, there is an appeal. But I don't know if they're appealing to DEP or if they're appealing under the bylaw, because of my understanding, if they appeal under the bylaw, it doesn't come back through you. It goes up to Superior Court or something like that. I'm not fully aware of the exact process of it, but I know that they have to appeal. It goes to a much higher level. So no, there's not anything that you need to do at the moment, but just to be aware of that's what happened. So.
Okay.
I don't know, again, I don't know if they appeal through DEP. Now, under DEP, within the 100-foot buffer zone, some towns don't have a bylaw at all, right? So they clear right up to the wetland line, and that's allowable. under the Wetlands Protection Act, there's no specific setbacks like you have in your bylaw. So DEP could look at it and they might agree with your decision, you know? So if it's appealed under DEP, I don't know that for sure. I think it's the bylaw. So, again, nothing for you to do at this time.
Okay.
Nothing for now. All right, second thing, I don't know, do you know if there's any rules about removing beaver dams?
There has to be.
I was going to say.
I feel like there is.
What?
I said I was going to say there should be, if there aren't.
Well,
I always thought that there were.
yeah.
I always thought that there were.
I don't know specifically under
Okay.
the Wetlands Protection Act. I could surely look into it. I don't know. My experience with it is a lot of the times people will have issues if it's, you know, the water's coming up and it's going to be a Board of Health issue or whatever, and they're getting an emergency certificate, you know, to do. As far as destroying the beaver dams, I don't know. There's a company that does beaver deceivers, they call
Sure,
it.
yeah, exactly.
Which is cool because they,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
I know. They
it's,
just did one on, they came before us to put one on the trunk line trail.
yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, I am not aware of as far as just taking down a beaver dam. I'm sure there's a lot.
I didn't think it was legal.
I don't know about it.
I don't think it's legal. I think it's expressly illegal, but
It
I'm not
probably is.
positive. I'm not positive, so I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure.
Oh, it goes all into location, state, type of body water.
And I
beaver
I
versus
didn't
the
Google or
dam.
look into it when, and I probably should have just looked into it myself.
No, I mean, that's all right, no big deal.
Why have you seen a beaver dam removal?
Yeah, in the last week.
Sad.
Well, if they don't have a permit for it, then that's a
Well, I'm
problem.
positive there wasn't a permit for
Well,
it.
then, yeah.
And it
regardless,
washed-
that's-
It washed out a trail
Yeah, I mean, that's
because,
direct
you know, it
alteration.
releases flood of water, obviously, when they took it out, and it just
Oh, there
drained
you go.
across
In
the
Douglas,
cross-country
Mass,
trail.
you generally cannot legally tear down a beaver dam without permits because beaver dams are regulated under state wetland and wildlife laws. Basic rule in Massachusetts, it is illegal in Massachusetts to disturb or tear open beaver dams or lodges without the proper permits. Dam breach and removal are treated as work of the effects of wetlands and therefore regulated by Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and local conservation commission.
Thank you, Jim.
Please feel free to double check my information.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff about dams, but a beaver dam,
Yeah.
there's a criteria for dam removal project.
When I used to sell houses, I remember that a house that I sold, a guy had a beaver dam and he would have to go to the town every time because they would try to get it removed because it would back up all.
Yes.
So.
Sure. Yeah, and so there's a process you can go through to
Right.
have it be removed, like what you just read, you know, you just got to get a permit for it, but.
Yeah.
Beaver Deceivers, the best company name ever.
That is a good one, isn't it?
That's all the company does.
I love it. I'm just picturing them like going around walking in beaver costumes, like deceiving the beavers like that. Anyway.
Where's Brandon when you need him so he can make a joke?
Oh, God, yeah.
All right. Do you guys want to be done, or do you want to do your meeting minutes?
I had a couple comments and questions in the meeting minutes that I'm not sure if they printed, but they were in, I haven't looked at them. Let me see if it is. Yeah, I had a couple comments and questions in the marked up version, the digital one. So I think these are the ones that Jen sent around originally. So I don't know if you guys are good approving prior to, but one of the questions was, or comments was that, Jim, I think you abstained from one of the votes.
I did.
I don't remember which one. Like, I remember it was one of the number one old business.
Yep.
But I don't remember which vote. And then
Well, I didn't abstain, you guys voted. It was
got
2,
it.
so it didn't matter. I was doing a mark.
That's right.
Mark taught me well.
You just didn't vote, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't have mattered.
It didn't matter. You didn't have to vote.
That's right. But I don't know which one I abstained from.
I remember actually watching that and hearing that and seeing that.
And you were like, oh, I taught Jim
I
that.
said, oh, man, that guy. Well, there's no rush. Let's take it up at the next meeting.
Okay.
And, yeah, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all, personally,
Okay.
as long as Jen doesn't mind.
We've been really good at
we're-
keeping on. So
I mean, that was the last meeting, so, oh, no, second to last meeting.
that's okay.
But that's okay.
Pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
We're not like 6 months behind.
True.
All right. But, yeah, we want to be especially careful with our meeting minutes and what we approve right now.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's why
yeah, same. One quick question, if there's still time, is the fact that I think I brought it up last time, but I haven't actually had the time to like plan anything. But is there any chance of allocating funds to signage of some sort or supporting
The new budget came out, right? Or it's coming out? So we didn't use the money, so.
That's what I'm wondering. So
we
don't
lose
we
it.
have until June
30th.
30th?
Do we?
We have it available till June 30th typically, yeah.
So if we give it to them, they have to order and use it. So like if we transfer the funds to them to use, they have to use it by June 30th, right? Is that the way it goes?
Or not even necessarily transferring, I guess, but like if there's any part that we can support or like, I don't know, signage for the trail that is also like educating about the wetland area or something. And I know that's a process to like create it and remove it. And
You make a really good point. If we have the money available, and we should try to use at least some, I'm not saying that we just willy-nilly go spend a whole bunch of money. There's no sense.
No.
But there's something that, like the trail people asked me about last year, was if we had any more of the trail markers. And I don't have any more of the trail markers.
I remember you brought one in, or you brought.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, is that something that we should place an order for and have in stock
I think so.
for future use? Or, is that what you were kind of thinking about?
Yeah, something like that. And again, like I'm just thinking about that other project on Gilboa with the CMRPC because it's something that they're actively doing. But like we could use those types of signs or markers in that area too, like
Right.
once it's more established.
Right,
There's
and we
supplies
have,
We can buy 2 for the signage or for trails. Is there stuff that we can
Like
get,
evergreen stuff.
buy and hold on to it, and then they can use it as they need it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
And that's exactly what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
is that we didn't buy it just for one trail, but we buy a stock of it.
Yeah.
And so when the property that we're trying to get the entrance into and the parking area into, I don't think there's trail markers on that
Yeah,
property.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, I think like I honestly, just like you said, I don't want to spend it willy-nilly, but like having something that does benefit like the
think
residents of the
that-
town,
yeah.
like because it is money from town, like
Yep.
I think it would make sense and to give something back to the community because I know we tend to have a lot of not fun conversations, so having something a little more community driven could be a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's great.
all right.
And I apologize I haven't come up with anything just yet. I've been a little swamped, no pun intended.
All right, no problem. I think you've come with suggestions, which is great.
You are
Appreciate
a
that.
superstar. And I
Where's my
mean that in a
sticker?
good way.
Little star.
So,
I will bring them to the next meeting.
Can't wait.
Do you want the colored ones or just gold?
Either, as long as it's
Sparkles.
foil.
I do want to clarify that destroying a beaver dam is not allowed. Like,
So Jim was right.
I do
Jim's
want to
information
very
was
much
correct.
just clarify that for the record. You do need to go through the Conservation Commission to do that. You cannot do that.
I didn't think so. Okay, thank you.
Just to clarify.
Thanks for that clarification, Sam. So about the trail markers, is it something that you want to look into, or do you want me to look into, or, because I can call Becky Kavanaugh, or
Yeah.
contact Becky Kavanaugh. She might have an idea as to where we could find something, or we can just have Jim Google it.
If you can contact Becky and Jim can Google it, I will also look into
Perfect.
other signage and see if there's something else we can't come up with. I don't
Great.
know, Mike, if you want to help put up the signs.
Oh, look at that.
No.
Trailmarking.com sells posts, decals, and other dedicated trail marking products for parks, landowners, and clubs. Forestry Supplies has the hiking trail markers.
Oh, I do business with them.
Section with blazers, tags, and reflective markers. God, I'm getting old. Suited for wood trails. Other sign companies like Nurton, N-U-T-R-O-N, Osmo, OSM, or Banana Buzz, sorry, I can't even talk anymore, will make custom trails, so we don't need that because we don't have the time for that.
Were the ones you had the vernal pool ones, Mark? The little salamander guy?
Yeah, they were cute.
They were.
Mhm.
Well, they are.
Oh,
They're still a thing.
Could you do Smokey the Bear one? That is such dying.
No.
Don't pollute. Oh, what about
No.
don't pollute? Hoo-hoo. Sorry. All right.
That's Hootie the Owl.
I know, but you can do that one too.
What does he say? Who don't pollute?
Yeah, that comes from childhood, from like the 80s, 90s. And then Smokey the Bear.
Yeah.
Make sure you put those out.
Smokey the Bear is a classic.
I see. All right, does anyone, I'm sorry, are we good before I start getting giddy here?
You are getting giddy. It's too late for that. Yes. You can,
Go ahead.
Make a motion to adjourn, right? The meeting?
yes.
I second that. Oh,
Oh.
Motion's been made by Kate and seconded by Mike to adjourn. All those in favor?
Jim Four and I.
Kate Rowland, aye.
Aye, pardon? Aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.